The overall goal of the following experiment is to characterize large protein assemblies using structural mass spectrometry. This is achieved by preparing gold-plated capillaries for nanoflow electrospray ionization. As a second step, the sample is prepared and the mass spectrometer is calibrated for high mass measurements. Next, experimental conditions are optimized in order to maintain protein complexes intact in the gas phase. MS and tandem MS spectra are then acquired. The MS spectra showed charged states corresponding in mass to the intact complex, while tandem MS experiments yielded dissociation pattern of monomers and stripped complexes.
Hi, I'm Noam Kirschenbaum from the laboratory of Michal Sharon in the Weizmann Institute of Science.
And I'm Isaac Mikhailevsky. I'm also from the laboratory of Michal Sharon.
Today we would like to show the basic procedure for analyzing large protein complexes by applying structural mass spectrometry.
And we use this procedure in our laboratory to characterize protein complexes, to define their stoichiometry, composition, and networks of interaction.
So let's get started!
Analysis of non-covalently bound protein complexes is performed by electron spray ionization technique using as emitters glass or quartz capillaries. These capillaries can be pulled to fine tips of about 1 micron diameters and then coated by conducting material like gold. These capillaries are commercially available, as you can see in here. However, it's much more cost-effective to use glass capillaries, which can be then cooled and coated to the ready-to-use state. Cooling is performed on this needle pulling device and coating on this coating device.
To begin this procedure, attach 2 strips of a double-sided adhesive pad to the bottom of a petri dish, keeping the strips 2 cm apart. Place a glass rod in the center of one of the pads. The adhesive pad holds the capillaries in place, and the glass rod supports the prepared capillaries and keeps the tips from breaking. For the capillaries, use borosilicate glass capillaries with 1 mm outer diameter and 0.78 mm inner diameter. Insert one capillary into the needle. Clamp the capillary gently in place and adjust its position so that it lies in the center of the heating filament. Tighten the clamps gently until the capillary is held firm at both ends. Pull the capillary using the predefined program shown here. However, remember that the process of programming the puller is one of trial and error until an acceptable tip shape is obtained. Every capillary pulled gives rise to 2 final shaped capillaries. Remove the pulled capillaries from the instrument and inspect the tips, discarding any that are deformed or broken. Use blunt positioning tweezers to place the capillaries in the petri dish. The base of the capillary is attached to the adhesive pad and the upper part leans on the glass rod, with the tip pointing up. Continue pulling the capillaries until the petri dish is full. About 80 capillaries fit into a 10 cm diameter dish. Next, coat the capillaries with gold. Insert the plate into the gold sputter coater. Make sure that the gas supply is chosen according to the manufacturer's instructions, and activate a predefined coating cycle. The coating is repeated 3 to 6 times, until the capillaries are evenly golden. Once the capillaries are ready, proceed to calibrate the mass spectrometer.
Most of the experiments conducted on multi-protein complexes are performed by a nanoelectrospray quadrupole time-of-flight mass spectrometer like this SYNAPT from Waters, which is modified for high masses.
Before loading the protein sample, calibrate the mass spectrometer using cesium iodide. First, prepare a 100 mg per milliliter solution of cesium in purified water. Cesium is used for high mass calibration as the singly charged salt clusters extend over a wide mass range, from 393 mass to charge ratio to well over 10,000. Using blunt tweezers, take a coated capillary from the petri dish and load 2 microliters of the cesium solution into the capillary using an Eppendorf gel loader tip. Slide the solution towards the tip of the capillary either manually or use a spin-down adapter. Insert the capillary into the capillary holder and adjust the capillary in such a way that the tip is approximately 10 mm away from the edge of the holder. Place the capillary under an optical microscope and use sharp AA-type tweezers to trim the tip. It is important to validate that there are no air bubbles within the capillary that could block the flow and that the capillary is not clogged. In addition, make sure that the gold coating is not stripped from the capillary. If so, replace the capillary or trim the tip and remove the uncoated section. Next, connect the capillary holder to the NanoFlow ESI interface. Rotate the XYZ stage backwards to avoid damaging the capillary and push the stage into its activated position. The capillary should be placed at a 1 to 10 mm distance from the cone orifice. Apply capillary voltage and low nanoflow pressure until spray is initiated. Then try to reduce the nanoflow pressure to a minimal value. Optimize the signal intensity by adjusting the location of the XYZ stage, the capillary voltage, the nanoflow pressure, and the dissolvation gas flow. To detect a wide mass range of cesium peak series, the accelerating voltages should be optimized. The parameters used here are capillary 1.3 to 1.7 kV, sample cone 80 to 150 volts, and extraction cone 1 to 3 volts. To optimize the transmission of high-mass ions, which require gentle desolvation conditions, the backing pressure is raised to 5 to 6 millibar in the initial vacuum stage, between the source and the analyzer. To raise the backing pressure carefully, reduce the conductance of the source vacuum line to the scroll pump by partially closing the isolation valve while monitoring the effect on signal intensity. When setting up of the mass spectrometer is complete, collect about 30 scans at 1 scan per second at a mass-to-charge ratio range of between 1000 to 15,000. After acquisition, calibrate the time of flight using the appropriate calibration table. Now that the calibration is complete, the protein sample can be loaded. The sample is prepared before calibrating the mass spectrometer. Low micromolar concentrations are required. If necessary, concentrate the sample using centrifugal ultrafiltration devices. Verify that the protein complex is not adsorbed to the device membrane before use by checking the volume and UV absorbance. Only volatile solutions may be used for NESI, often making buffer exchange necessary. A microcentrifuge gel filtration column can be used to remove all traces of salts, buffer molecules, or any other non-volatile adducts. Instead, suspend the sample in aqueous ammonium acetate solution. This critical step determines the quality of the spectra. Repeat the buffer exchange up to 3 times with minimal dilution, less than a factor of 1.3 per device, until maximum exchange is achieved. If both concentration and buffer exchange are required, these may be done together using centrifugal ultrafiltration, as just shown in the beginning of this section. Next, load the sample as shown for the cesium iodide calibration and initiate spray. Start by initial optimization of the spray until the signal is detected. Use the equation for average charge state shown, in which m is the mass of the complex in Daltons. However, the exact position of the charge states is protein dependent. To prevent complex dissociation, do not heat the ion source. Either switch the heater off or keep the temperature below 40 degrees Celsius. Vary the capillary position, sample cone, and extractor voltages to maximize ion transmission. A possible starting point is cone voltage 100 volts, extractor cone 1 volt, and capillary voltage 1.5 kilovolts. Check the resulting change in the spectra. Optimize these parameters in combination with the nanoflow pressure. To improve desolvation and strip off residual water and buffer components, increase the bias voltage in the gas pressure in the collision cell. Typical bias voltages are within the range of 10 to 100 volts with a trap gas flow of 1 to 10 milliliters per minute. Perform this carefully to prevent dissociation of the complex. Adjust trap and transfer collision energies. Often, higher voltages, usually within the range of 10 to 30 volts, are required for transmission of high-mass ions. At this point, it is important to avoid collision-induced dissociation of the complex, as shown here. After a stable signal is reached, it is recommended that the nanoflow pressure and capillary voltage be decreased to minimal values while maintaining stable spray. After collecting several scans, proceed to identify the components of the complex by tandem mass spectrometry. Once an optimum and stable signal has been obtained for the protein complex, select a precursor ion. Set the mass center and isolation width, generally a low mass resolution of 12 and a high mass resolution of between 13 and 15. Use a wide mass range to detect the high mass, low charge dissociation products and then reduce it to the desired values. To perform MS-MS, dissociate the precursor ion by increasing the collision energy, abbreviated CE, and the pressure on the collision cell. Increase either the trap or transfer CE gradually in steps of 10 to 20 volts and elevate the collision gas pressure to 0 to 5 milliliters per minute. Monitor changes in the spectra until optimal activation conditions are reached. High activation energy may induce the dissociation of one or more subunits from the intact complex and clarify the interaction affinities of different subunits. Select more than one charge for MS-MS analysis. In the case of overlapping components, acquiring a set of tandem MS spectra assists in resolving the charge series of the different populations. Moreover, higher charged states dissociate more easily compared to lower charged states. Superimpose the MS and MS-MS spectra to validate the isolation of the chosen precursor ion. In addition to the characterization of the intact complex by MS and MS-MS, generate smaller subcomplexes in solution under mild denaturing conditions and characterize these as well. The MS and MS-MS analyses of subcomplexes form the basis for defining the subunit architecture of the complex. For partial disruption of subunit-subunit interactions, gradually add organic solvents up to a concentration of 50%, or change the pH of the solution by adding ammonia or formic acid up to a concentration of 4%. Finally, to determine the masses of the individual subunits that compose the complex, it is important to acquire spectrum under denaturing conditions. This can be carried out using zip-tip C4 with a 25 to 75 water acetonitrile ratio with 1% formic acid as the elution solvent. With all the data collected, process and analyze the results as detailed in the accompanying written protocol. Before loading the protein complex sample, the mass spectrometer is calibrated using cesium iodide. The series of equally spaced peaks marked in red extend over a wide range, from a mass-to-charge ratio of 393 to well over 10,000. They are assigned to singly charged salt clusters of the general composition of the cesium plus complex. Additional signals between the major peaks marked in black are caused by double and triple charged species of the series, cesium 2 plus complex and the cesium 3 plus complex. Increasing the pressure at the initial vacuum stage is essential for detecting the high mass clusters. The effect of pressure on the high mass peaks is demonstrated here with pressure readbacks of 1.2 and 5.3 millibar. The mass spectrum for the higher pressure is shown expanded here. Here is an example of mass spectrometry of a lectin variant complex, giving rise to a charge state distribution between 3000 and 5000 mass-to-charge ratio. However, due to inadequate desolvation of the ions, the peaks are broad. Increasing the bias voltage from 4 volts to 15 volts, which brings about an increase in accelerating conditions, causes the stripping of residual water and buffer components, yielding a highly resolved spectrum. The measured mass corresponds to a pentameric complex. The plus 15 charge state was then selected for tandem MS analysis. The increase in collision energy causes the release of a highly charged monomer, centered at 1664 mass-to-charge ratio, and a stripped tetrameric complex, in the range of 5,000 to 8,000 mass to charge ratio. The lectin variant complex was also examined under denaturing conditions, leading to complex dissociation. In this way, the accurate mass of the individual subunits making up the complex can be determined.
We've just shown you how to acquire MS and tandem MS spectra of high mass ions.
When doing this procedure, it is important to properly prepare your sample and use only volatile buffers compatible with mass spectrometry.
So that's it. Thank you for watching and good luck with your experiments.